guys. I know Nate's keeping you guys on your toes. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You don't know when it's coming, so that's how we like you guys, on your toes. Or where, exactly, yeah. All right, fire away.
You played Cal in early December and haven't played Stanford. Is that just weird that you're facing new teams this late in a conference schedule?
Well, it's kind of how the schedule broke, and I finally looked and realized that we play I don't think we've played Colorado yet either, right? So we play them like next week. So it's interesting. You have this late in the season, you're used to kind of starting to get in a rhythm of playing teams the second time, and you have two teams you haven't faced yet, which is good. It's exciting to figure out ways. You're going to be able to be competitive with those teams, and but obviously, the first order of business is Cal, and getting our guys dialed in to go down there and play on the road there.
How do you get your guys not to look at Cal's struggles lately? I mean, they got a lot of key guys out. They've lost,
Well, it's about us, and Cal came here last time, and they played us pretty well, and they battled with us, and our guys know, obviously we're having a little bit of success recently, and but you can't take that for granted. You have to go out and you have to go recreate that, and you have to make that happen every single time, and the score is going to start out 0-0 in Berkeley on Thursday, and if we don't play well, we're going to be on the bad side of that. So we need to be ready to roll.
How are they different without Devin Askew?
That's a great question. They played without him a lot, and I think they've had a little bit of success here and there without him. Obviously, Devin's a really talented player who's, ability to create his own shot, and he's got confidence in himself, and he came in here and obviously he played really well against us. So, I'm sure, they don't feel good about him being out, but, at this point of the year, you have to go out and compete with the guys that are available. And I know Coach Fox, well, and he's always done a great job of getting his teams prepared and competitive. So, I'm expecting, a hard game on Thursday.
Was there anything behind having Phillip be the first of the non-rotation?
I wouldn't overthink it too much. Phillips, he's first year over here, and he's done a good job hanging with it, and he'll admit, like they all end up eventually doing that, it's harder than he thought it was going to be, and he's done a nice job in practice. He's worked hard, and I just wanted to, to reward him and let him know that that I value him as a player.
You had said about Adama that he had the hustle play to start, and that those kind of guys need to do that stuff, and then the offense will come. Is that kind of the same with?
There's no category of those kind of guys. All guys, and it's an everybody job. There's in this game of basketball, there's somebody jobs. Some guys get to shoot threes, some guys don't. And then there's everybody jobs. Everybody has to play with effort and energy. Everybody has to rebound. Everybody has to be attentive on defense. And so that's the message. And sometimes young players get hung up on whether they're scoring points or not. And obviously this is it's a very offensive-centric game, from a media and a fan perspective. And we got to let them know that there's another way. And the way you get on the court is effort, energy, and focus on making those plays and value those plays. And then you don't have to go, ride the ebbs and flows of shooting. And so that's been my message. And hopefully, as they mature as players, they understand that.
Was it tougher for Dom in the sense that maybe us or a lot of people made a light of the fact that he shot those threes against UCLA in the tournament, and did that lend him in thinking, well, this really matters?
Listen, I built this team, for Adama to be in the top 8, and he had a lot of opportunities, and he just didn't play great, didn't play well enough early, and I've told him that, and I told him, now the next time you get your next chances, you need to be ready. And so that was my message to him, and so I was really happy for him and proud of him that he played last game, and he played pretty well.
What's his biggest obstacle in terms of getting those minutes that you'd like to see him get?
I don't know if I don't see any obstacle. Just play better. When you're on the court, you have to bring value, and value isn't just shot attempts. Value is is the team more efficient when you're on the floor, or nearly as efficient as the guy you're subbing in for? And we just don't need to have a drop off there. And so, and And then sometimes, you change your lineup a little bit and maybe shorten the bench, and it gives you the guys that are playing a little more certainty, and allows your team to move forward that way. And then the next step is you got to adjust and you got to give some guys a chance again.
When you talk about stuff in the games that these guys are doing, are there, especially the guys that maybe are, sort of on the outside of the 7, the next 3 or 4 guys, are you seeing a lot in practice where you're making these decisions too,
I mean, my eyes are always open, and so, yeah, I mean, I see it in practice and you see it in games, and then you try to help them along with it. But I also know that, it's not a process where there's not a magic button. You don't just push something. There's not a recipe book, and it happens organically, and it happens at its own pace for every different guy. And you kind of got to be able to, as a coach, you're hopefully trying to guide them through it, and you're trying to guide yourself through it, because it doesn't always happen as fast as we all want it to.
Like behind the scenes, maybe with Henry and Dylan. I mean, we've seen them in limited spots. Certainly Henry a little bit less than earlier in the season. I mean, is there things in practice where you're seeing maybe they're hitting a ball or not producing like you'd like to?
I actually think they're practicing better, and I think they're getting better. But still, the guys ahead of them are playing pretty well, and and then maybe adding Pella in there to kind of rotate with those 2 bigs, allows you to diversify your lineups in the way you play a little bit, and maybe allows you to play defensively a little bit. And that small lineup was really good for us last year. I mean, I know everybody makes this big deal about us playing 2 bigs. I mean, you play 2 bigs because they're 2 of your better players. And so you find a way to get them on the court and make it function. And then, there's nothing wrong with playing 4 guards either. I mean, a lot of people do it, and we can do it as well.
Well, similar to what Brian was asking about Philip getting in early, there's been some games you put in Dylan ahead of Henry. Does that anything to read into that? Or are they?
I'm not reading anything into it. I mean, again, Dylan's done a great job. I mean, Dylan has really, really come a long way, and he's much improved from when he got here in June. Just unfortunately, outwardly, people aren't getting to see the progress, and Dylan probably doesn't even fully realize the progress he's made. But the foundation is there for him to become a real basketball player now, and we had to kind of build and rebuild the foundation, and we're doing the same thing with Henry right now, and it's just it's the old Nick Saban line. It takes what it takes, and so you just got to make sure you're putting in the effort and the time and the energy and staying persistent with it.
Have you had a chance to talk with Justin Kier after his triple-double that he had the other night?
I didn't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. So, I mean, I wish my SID would drop me these nuggets. I didn't even know. I'm not on social media, so I don't like.
Austin, I think, on Saturday.
It's amazing.
Does that not surprise you that he's...
I mean, Justin's a really good player. And, man, I loved having him here. And, just our time was a little shorter than I would have liked just because when we got him and when I got the job here. But, I mean, he's always going to have a special place in my heart. And he was, I mean, you look back, like, he really, really helped us last year. I mean, he's really a good player. And I mean, he's one of those ones like, man, if we could have had him this year, he'd have been great.
Started having those conversations with your seniors about like the next level yet?
No, we're living in the moment. I mean, I don't need to give Bruce my favorite quote again, but we're day to day on that stuff, so we're staying locked in.
This time of year, is depth kind of overstated, like the importance of it?
I mean, I mean, obviously, depth's a good thing, but I think at the end of the day, I mean, I think if you look at all these top teams in college basketball, the focus is on winning the next game and what gives you the best chance to win the next game, and that's where your mindset. If it's playing 6 players, it's playing 6 players. If it's playing 10, it's playing 10. And so I mean that's one of the things that makes college basketball hard, but it makes it so great is that every game, I know it's maybe not to the level of college football, but every game matters and it impacts so many things. Whether it's being on the bubble or safely getting an at-large bid, then it impacts seeding. I mean, there's just lots of levels, and then do you want to compete for a conference championship? All these things add up, and they all matter. They all matter to me. So, it's just the ability to play the best group of guys to help you win the next basketball game.
Last question. Well, I got 5, but I guess.
Hey, we did these Tuesdays for you so you can meet your deadline. Like, man.
Well, now I got stories for 2 days I gotta write, so.
Oh, wow.
But no, I was wondering, in general, you talk about, we're talking a lot about the rotation and whether you get that 8th guy or 9th. I mean, how important it is to you, do you want, or to have maybe a 7.5 situation, or, down the stretch, if somebody gets in foul trouble, whatever.
Well, listen, I mean, in a perfect world, I'd love everybody to play, and I'd love everybody to happy, and I'd love everybody to score double figures. But we don't, obviously we know we don't live in a perfect world. So for me, it's just about making decisions that I think are going to help us win the next ball game. And then I can't ignore the fact that having players 8, 9, and 10, good enough and ready to contribute helps your team. And so I got to help kind of nurture that and develop that a little bit. And they got to hold up their end of the bargain and make sure that when they get those opportunities, they come in and they really help us and the level doesn't drop off.
I was just wondering, did you really get up to NAU last night to see Liam, or Brian said that on the radio, I think, or did Murph or something?
If Brian said it, it's true. Yeah, but I'm not putting any rumors out there. Well, maybe, yeah. I mean, I snapped my fingers and I teleported to Flagstaff, and it was really cold. So then I got the hell out of there and got back down where it was a little bit warmer.
Did you wear NAU gear to the game, or?
I wore a nice button-down shirt with a vest. It was blue and the black vest. And you want any other details? Like,
How's Liam doing?
He's doing awesome. He's a great kid. Love him to death. The team's going through some struggles. They need to win a close game. It'd really help him, but he's being positive, and it was really fun to get up and see him. And we took my wife's parents up there to see him and had a good dinner with him. And we even took Big Shimmy, one of his old big brothers, up there to see him, and he was happy to see him. So it was a really, really cool trip. All right.